How can you hate it? What kind of a monster are you if you dislike any part of this show? You know? You can't do it. Okay, so if you haven't watched this, then go watch it and either enjoy it or live long enough to see yourself become the monster you are. There aren't many movies out there, and there's even less TV shows that I would actually dare to come out here and describe as unhateable. But I think as close as something could get to an everybody loves show, this has got to be it, right? Kipo is such a rare gem amongst the many, many Netflix animated shows. There are many now. There's so many. And until now, the best one it done for me was just to kind of avoid annoying me too much, I think. But I've really started recently finding some more ones that I actively enjoy, and this one is still the pinnacle of them. After sadly finishing everything there's ever going to be of this show, I've decided to just come alert the world by, doing a ranking of every season of Kipo. Also can be called just 10 minutes of me screaming about how much I love Kipo. Yeah. There'll be spoilers ahead for sure, by the way, for the show in general, but I'll try to avoid spoilers for the first season one, so you can watch the start of the video, see if it sounds like something you might like. That's more than, Netflix did for me when you just hover over the title before starting any of the show on the Netflix app, and it starts playing the trailer for the final season, which has immediate spoilers right at the beginning of it, so. That's between me, Netflix, and the hundreds, if not thousands, of people who that's surely been spoiled for. But anyway, here is my ranking of every season of Kipo.
No, thank you. No hugging. I knew you were a good person. It's amazing. In just a day, I've seen enough wonders to fill a lifetime. You can run, Pig, but I will find you, and I will pet you.
Kipo Oak, a 14-year-old who has never seen the sky before, is left on the surface world alone after the burrow she lived in with other humans was destroyed by a huge monkey. That's a weird sentence, but gradually it makes more sense as you watch more of this show, yeah. Basically, centuries ago, animals became mutated and started growing in size, dexterity, and many were able to learn how to talk, and now they live on the surface while the humans mostly hide underground. Kipo, a loving, caring person who really doesn't fit on the desolate surface world, makes friends with the unfriendly wolf. Yes, I realised what I just said. As well as Benson and Dave, who is a large immortal bug. Yes, I know what I just said. Together, they try to find Kipo's people in the backup bunker before they can be captured and mind-controlled by the dastardly mandrill mute Scarlamian. Yes, I know what I just said. And along the way, there are a lot of songs, jokes, and things that don't belong in your run-of-the-mill post-apocalyptic show. Here is my 1-minute review for Kipo Season 1. I've got 2 words for you. Yumyan, Hammerpaw. That might not make any sense to you right now if you've never seen the show, but it will when you go watch it. Yeah, the problem here is just trying to mention all of the aspects of this show that I really do love in a minute. There are so many incredible things about it. The world building here is done so swiftly and seamlessly that you don't actually feel like, despite it being a lot to get used to, you're behind, or you're lagging, or it needs another season to really hit its stride. It does it immediately, which is so impressive. The music is great. That theme song at the start of time ends, da-da-da-da-da, so good. Kipo, the characters, they're all amazing fun. There is development throughout, even just the first season. It doesn't all happen in later seasons. There's stuff you can see throughout this first season as it is, which is so good. And of course, the art. That style of kind of Western animation mixed with the Miyazaki style, it all blends together so well and so seamlessly. It's all seamless. This whole world, it's so good, and I love it so much. And the songs as well, fucking tunes! I'm giving specifically Yumyan Hammerpaw 89 out of 100, which is maybe more than I've given a season of animated TV so far, ever. Shit.
Now that I have my army, all I'm missing is Kipo.
Time to be serious.
Season 2 saw Kipo reuniting with her people, and this is where, spoilers really start to kick in, folks. Kipo, having discovered that she has the blood of a jaguar in her, which allows her to turn into a giant mutant jaguar. Yep, I know what I just said. Begins to harness her powers in preparation for a confrontation with Scarlamian, who has kidnapped many of her people and taken them to the golden city he plans on building, where he wants mutes to rule over humans. This season, the madness expands, origins are uncovered for many characters, especially Scarlamian, and just golden jams are continually pumped out. So here is my 1-minute review for Kipo Season 2. While still insanely awesome, okay? Real personal favourite season of television for me, still here, okay? Here's why this season isn't as good as the first season, okay? Quite simply, it's not as memorable episode to episode, As much as the overall overarching story here is so well done, because you still have so much character development for our characters, things that we love happening, and you have all this great backstory stuff for Kipo, for Scarlet, and for lots of people, okay? For Wolf as well in this season, right? You get so much of that good stuff, okay? But just as individual episodes, I feel like so many of the episodes in season 1 I remember so clearly and so vividly what goes on. This season, not quite to the same extent, you know, and the whole thing feels like it's dragged out one iota, one tiny bit too long, you know? Feels like the Scarlet main story, that entire section of the show, could have been wrapped up in maybe 18 episodes. So it feels like this season they kind of added in a couple extra, just trying to stretch it so that they did that at the very end of the season, you know? Anyway, I'm giving specifically the cheese-obsessed goats 86 out of 100. You know, it's still amazing quality. It's still really incredible quality. Still better than almost any animated show I've ever seen. But, I don't know, maybe the initial shock of how good this actually was in the first season had worn off, and I came into this season with more reasonable expectations? I don't know.
After we stopped Scarlemane's reign of terror, we had a new task. Stop Dr. Emilia.
She's kidnapping mutes.
Emilia!
And finally, Season 3. I knew Dr. Emilia was a thing from before she turned up at the end of Season 2. Because of that cheeky Netflix spoiler, oh, the bastards. And by the end of Season 2, I hated her more than I ever did Scarlet. But as Kipo and the crew formed MUFA, the Human-Mute Ultimate Friendship Alliance, and started bringing the whole world together, you finally really get to see what this show is actually about, you know? It's about taking a world like this, one of those post-apocalyptic crazy worlds where everyone's at war, and showing how it can be handled in a very different way to how people would normally deal with it in a show or movie. Because normally Dr. Emilia trying to bring the humans back to the surface at the expense of the animals maybe would be the hero in a show like this, you know? As Dr. Emilia tries to keep the humans on her side while also brutally destroying Kipo and all of her loved ones with a cure that makes for a way more effective and emotionally devastating plot device than the one from X-Men The Last Stand. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. It's a similar style, you know, what it does. Kipo tries her very hardest to remain the good person she's always been, which becomes really tricky as you slowly find out more and more how irredeemable a villain Dr. Emilia is. Here is my 1 minute review for Kipo Season 3. It was so focused on the overarching story again. Maybe that's weirdly why Season 1 is my favourite. Because it is. Because Season 1 didn't, you know, they were travelling to try and find her people in general. But it was a bit of an open-ended quest, you know? And as such, they were able to focus on individual episodes being like astoundingly brilliant and random and crazy and fun. And in Season 2 and 3, they focus much more on the overarching story, I think, which still works really well. Season 3 is still amazing. It's such a good send-off. Dr. Emilia, her backstory, the way it debated us into thinking they were going to kind of make her redeemable in some degree as well, and then just didn't. The finale where it shows what happens after all this, I really loved so much about all of this. It made me so happy. The whole show makes me so happy. And the story of Kipo trying to remain good while also taking down Dr. Emilia is such a time-honored classic style of try not to become the villain yourself, you know? I'm still giving specifically Dave and Benson's backstory about the tiny electric fan 84 out of 100. The whole show is just on another level when it comes to animation for me. And I really want now, because there are so many Netflix animated shows, animated, anime, whatever, I want you guys to let me know what your favorite ones are, okay? Favorite Netflix animated shows. Or just animated shows that happen to be on Netflix right now, or whatever, in the comments. That's your target. That's what you go do right now. Go do that. While you're down there, if you like the video, you know, whatever. But do that, because I really want to see more. I really want to review more, because I'm really hyped for animated shows right now. I'm up for it. Feeling it. Overall, in terms of ranking, yes, Season 3 at the bottom, Season 2, then Season 1. But realistically, you don't do that. You do, Season 3, Season 2, Season 1, you know, because they're all way up in the stratosphere in terms of this genre, in terms of any genre, in terms of every piece of TV ever. These are real classics, real favourites for me already. How did they pump out all 3 seasons in the same year? That's incredible. Anyway, let me know what other ranking videos you want to see in terms of movies or TV or game. I guess game. We could do games, maybe. Game ranking. It could happen. And like this video if you love Kipo, Wolf, Dave, Benson, and most importantly, Yumyan, Hammerpaw.